It's Monday in Tryon, North Carolina at higher ground and Melrose Mountain. Finally, I think I can get back to a regular schedule and get these devotions done a little bit earlier. Our family has become Fitbit crazed. That is, we started out, our son started out with a Fitbit, which measures the number of steps or miles that you walk each day, and you can challenge one another to see who can walk the most miles, and of course it encourages you to be fit. I call mine a bit fit because I'm just a bit fit, not fit a bit. But I don't walk as much as everybody else. The steps you can take on a Fitbit are pretty interesting. They're pretty accurate. However, you can fool a Fitbit. I realized one day when I went out to plant my vines, my grapevines, at my arbor, that I suddenly gained about 5,000 steps, yet I really probably hadn't walked 25 or 50 steps out in the garden. And I realized that the Fitbit that I was wearing on my wrist, I was using a post hole digger, and every time I dug with a post hole digger, it actually caused the Fitbit to think that it was a step, and so I got 5,000 steps real quickly. As a matter of fact, don't tell anybody that has a Fitbit, but you see, our daughter found that there's another way of cheating a Fitbit that's even easier, because actually I got probably as much exercise with a post hole digger as I would have walking. But she found if she got on our swing, she could actually swing on the swing and enjoy herself, and it would count as steps. So you can cheat a Fitbit. But who are you fooling? You know, how can you fool anybody except yourself? And that's exactly what Ephesians 5 says. Ephesians 5 says to walk in love. Now, Fitbit counts steps, but God counts the way we walk. And he says to walk in love. In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, he says Christ is our example. And the example that Christ sets, he says, is first of all, by demonstration, that is forgiveness. By denial, that is denial of ourselves and sacrificially loving. By determination, that is a commitment to love no matter what. The degree of love is a Christ-like love, a Christ example love. And the depth of love is found in 1 Corinthians 13. You've heard it many times at weddings. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not count unrighteousness that's done to you. And so we see this definition of love, and it says for us to walk in love. And it tells us that we're not supposed to walk the way we used to walk. In chapter 5, verses 3 through 5, it says we're not to walk with greed, we're not to walk with immorality or impurity or filthiness, not even silly jesting. It says that we're to be sure that we don't worship idols. And it says that we're not to be deceived by others. You see, I could go out on the swing today and swing for a couple of hours and not get any exercise at all, really. And I might be deceiving those others that were on the weekly challenge on Fitbits to see what a tremendous job I did walking. But I really didn't, did I? So who am I deceiving? And God tells very clearly in chapter 5, verses 6 through 7, not to deceive anyone and not to allow anyone to deceive you. So it compares us with darkness and light. And it says that in darkness there's Satan, sin, and self. And in light there's Christ, there's control, and there's cleanness. Now look at how they contrast. Satan to Christ, sin to control, self to cleanness. We need to be sure that we understand that God sees how we walk, and he tells us to walk in love. And then comes the warning in verse 5, chapter 5, verse 13. All things become visible in light. You see, God knows. We may be able to fool our friends that have a Fitbit and only see us by computer, but God sees us because we come into his light, and that light exposes us for who we really are, what we really are. In chapter 5, verses 15 through 17, be careful how you walk, not as unwise, but wise, understanding what the will of the Lord is. Understanding what the will of the Lord is. That's how we're to walk. We're to walk in love, knowing that how we walk will be exposed by his light, and knowing what his will is for us to walk in a Christ-like way. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.